Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Chloe and this is A Girl Like Me with Chloe M. Okay, so today I just wanted to do chit chat, get ready with me, and just talk while I get ready. This is gonna be a super informal video. I'll tell you like what stages I am in the makeup. I'll leave all of the products down below if you're interested, but I'm not really gonna walk through like step by step what I'm doing. So it's mostly just to talk about things I've been thinking about, and yeah. So if you're interested in getting ready with me today, keep on watching. I am on today marks 60 days in isolation for me. And it's been interesting. I've done my whole front yard. I've redone the whole landscaping of my front yard, and I've been working on, starting my own company, but I've also been going through a lot mentally. Those of you who follow me on Instagram I should say, you don't need to follow everything that I'm doing all the time. But you may know that I posted a story the other day about just feeling really down about my body since starting isolation because I haven't been able to go to the gym, I haven't been able to necessarily be as active as I would like, and so yeah, I've been struggling for sure. I have had, some not only gender dysphoria throughout my life, but a lot of body dysmorphia. I used to be pretty overweight in middle school and high school, and I got really bullied for it, especially in 6th through 9th grade. I mean, when I was in 6th grade, my nickname in middle school was Tits because I was heavy and I had boobs at the time. Little do they know now, I mean, I do have quite big boobs. So I'd be totally fine with that nickname now. Yeah, it just did a lot to me mentally back then. So it's been a struggle for me. My body image has been for a long time, and I think, being in the YouTube space and the Instagram space, it's you're constantly surrounded by, people who are showing you the highlight reel of their life, and it can be a little overwhelming at times because of, it's it pushes these images out in the media that are seen to be normal when actually it's they're not. And that's why I like to share my struggles. I'm gonna do my eyebrows quick. Okay, so my eyebrows are done. Sorry I had to pop off for that. I do not like putting my eyebrows on and talking at the same time. So I was talking about how I was bullied a lot in high school for my weight, and then kind of in a year or so I lost 75 pounds, which is not healthy, and I did not do it in a healthy way, and I do not advocate for anyone to do it the way that I did it. I did kind of suffer through eating disorders for most of my high school experience. So I went from being pretty heavy to being very, very small, which also led to a number of bad decisions in my life. Lately, I've been having similar feelings about my body that I used to have when I was in high school, and I've had those feelings on and off since I was in high school. About my body, not just, in high school I had shame around my body weight, but also, not being able to present female like I wanted to. And now I'm presenting female like I have always wanted to. I still have a lot of things that kind of trigger my gender dysphoria as well. So I'm kind of dealing with these double-edged feelings right now, especially during isolation. It's I haven't been able to get laser hair removal. I haven't been able to do the things that make me feel less dysphoric. And then also, not being able to go to the gym. That has been difficult as well. It's been difficult, and I'm sure some of you out there, or a lot of you, can understand those feelings. It's been an interesting time for me, but I'm working through it. I'm starting to do positive affirmations, which I think are extremely helpful. I'm just trying to be kind to myself, and I'm only, I'm 27 years old. I'm not by any means old or aging. Well, everyone's aging, but I'm not old. I'm not, at the peak of my life. by any means, but you know, I've always been kind of an old soul, so that's, you know, there are things that are starting to happen to me that make me feel like, okay, it's starting to catch up to me. I need to start acting a little younger, because, you know, once you start acting old, you get old, no matter what age you are. So I have started to discover patches of gray hair throughout my head. So I normally dye my hair pretty consistently to this really kind of dark brown color, but kind of from here to about here now is my natural. It's wet right now, so it looks about the same color, but it's like a mousy kind of medium brown. And yeah, that's not my jam. So I have that, so I'm like, oh my god, I'm starting to get gray hair, and people in my family premature gray, or the women, I should say, in my family premature gray. So that's something I have to look forward to, but I'm just trying to embrace it. I don't know, the kind of energy all around the world, I think right now is kind of just an odd feeling, you know? It's, we all have a lot of uncertainty in our life. We all have a lot of, you know, things that are changing. I'm a nurse by trade. I've been a nurse in many different settings for the past 4 years, and I've been, you know, a nurse in orthopedic surgery, medical surgical nursing. I was a nurse at Planned Parenthood for a while. That's kind of where I got into nurse management. I worked at Ideal Image, so I was doing a lot of like cosmetic stuff there. I was the regional trainer for Ideal Image for Minnesota for a little bit before I decided to leave. And then I was working as a dermatology nurse. I was working in medical and surgical dermatology, which is really interesting, but I worked for a group of people that were not very nice humans, so I decided to leave, and we just happened to be acquired at that point that I left. And then I went into plastic surgery, which I started in February, and then we shut down March 19th. And to be honest, I am actually starting to feel quite disenchanted with being a nurse. I love nursing. I love the field of nursing. I love caring for people. I love, you know, being there for others, but sometimes in nursing you can put a lot of your energy into caring for others, and then you don't have any energy to care for yourself. A little backstory for me, I grew up in Texas, and when I was deciding what to do to go to college, I originally wanted to go to the Savannah College of Art and Design and be an interior designer. You know those like thick notepad papers that you get, like the sketchbooks? I had like stacks and stacks and stacks of those filled with room designs, full of like to-scale furniture, color schemes, draperies, fabrics, everything. And I just did that on my own time. I sketched probably a room or two a day. And this was in 2010 was when I was kind of starting to apply for college. And this was kind of, you know, after the 2008 recession. So, you know, that was still kind of fresh on everyone's minds. And my mom said, you know what, Chloe, I think that you should be kind of smart about what you do as your career. You want something that is recession-proof. You want something that you'll be able to have a good pay immediately once you leave college. And she said, so play to your strengths. So I was always a really, really artistic kid. I, you know, was the president of art club throughout middle school. In high school, I was really heavily involved in art. I've been to the Texas State Art Competition multiple times for my clay work and my charcoal work. Then my mom kind of planted that seed in my head. Oh, and my dad and everyone in my family. I come from a family of nurses. So, you know, they said, you know, think about, you know, play to your strengths. And besides being an artistic kid, my strengths, I had a lot of strengths in science. Science I was always, you know, very good at. And it was just something that interested me, you know, besides art, of course. I was always interested in human anatomy, always interested in, you know, kind of the psychology of humanity, really, and kind of what made people's bodies work. And, you know, I excelled in that. So originally I was like, I'm gonna be a doctor, like so many kids in high school say, who get a decent grade point average. And then I ended up going to the University of Minnesota in Rochester for pre-med. The one thing about University of Minnesota Rochester that's really great is they have connections with Mayo Clinic. So we had access to a lot of doctors, cadaver labs, you know, we got to shadow, we got to really experience kind of what it's like to be a physician in that community. And for me, it seemed like a lot of school, a lot of work, and a lot of life lost to me. So I was like, you know what? That's not my jam. I don't want to be a doctor, but I do want to be in the medical field. So I decided that I was going to be a nurse. So I ended up applying to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities nursing program, and I got in. I was in the Rochester program for a year of nursing, and then I transferred up to the Minneapolis campus once I started my transition, just because I wanted a fresh start. So when throughout nursing school, I had a lot of difficult times just because I was transitioning, but I was also with someone who was an alcoholic. Went through treatment multiple times while we were together, and we ended up breaking up, and he actually ended up passing away after, you know, a couple, or I should say a few months after we broke up. He passed away. Yeah, so that was, it was just a lot of things happening at once. You know, I was also working 3 jobs. I was a barista at 2 different places, and then I was also stripping on top of transition, on top of nursing school, on top of having an alcoholic boyfriend and having to be a caretaker in that way. I also committed to doing, as a part of his treatment, doing couples counseling twice a week. So we had a group meeting, and we had just a single session with just us, and that would help him, you know, get out of treatment faster and like help him kind of progress through the program more quickly. And so I had a lot of things going at once on top of clinicals and being in the hospital all the time and trying to, you know, learn this very valuable career. So I worked through all of that. I had my ups and downs. I made it through nursing school. I landed my first job. I worked my ass off. And I've been a nurse now for 4 years. It's a very roundabout way to talk about that, but I've been a nurse now for 4 years, and nursing has taught me an immense amount of knowledge, both, you know, of course academically, you know, nursing skills, drugs, nursing assessment, everything like that, but also how people work, what motivates people, how to deal with people when they are down or struggling, how to be a kind person to people who are not necessarily at the best places in their life. I just wish that at the end of the day that I would have listened to myself, and I would have gone to the Savannah College of Art and Design and become an interior designer and kind of stuck with that creative side of myself, because I have lost a lot of that in me. I've been in this, you know, analytical headspace, this search for knowledge headspace, this, you know, world of academia, and I've lost my creativity in many senses. I mean, this is a great outlet for me, but, you know, at the same time, it's, you know, I used to draw every day. I used to sculpt every day. I used to, you know, have all these crazy ideas and this kind of raw talent for art, and I have definitely lost that in some aspects of my life. So, long story short, I do not want to be a nurse anymore. Some people say that it's probably a giant waste of money. I disagree. I think I've learned so much about being a nurse and being a person and people, and how healing goes beyond just the hospital. So yeah, I'm really gonna be focusing hardcore this year on my business and learning skills that are applicable to starting my own business. I'm very excited to do that. I'm also very sad. I can't do what people expect of me anymore. I can't live life for anyone else's expectations, especially during this time of uncertainty, and anything could happen. People are losing loved ones, people's lives are changing, and it's given me a lot of perspective, and I just realized that I cannot not be happy anymore. And, you know, it's like in every nursing position I've had, it's just been like going through the motions, and, you know, of course, there were a lot of places that I excelled, but there were also a lot of, it just felt like I was in a slag every day. I was just moving through the motions and just going about life as I was expected to, and nothing excited me, nothing invigorated me, nothing got me just moving like, you know, starting a business has, or being on YouTube has, or being an influencer has, or the thought of creating my own products, or my business affecting people's lives in a positive way. So I just need to follow my heart this time, and my heart says I don't think nursing is right for me anymore. Sorry, that was a very long way to go about that, from, you know, body dysmorphia to not wanting to be a nurse anymore to lots of stuff. I hope you all are doing well, and I hope that me talking about this in any way is helpful. Yeah, thanks for all tuning in to that very long-winded answer to the question, basically, how have you been feeling lately? If any of you have been really excelling through quarantine or isolation, or have really, you know, not been, leave a comment in the comment box and let me know, because, you know, we are all in this together despite what, you know, the climate has been. It's okay to struggle through this. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be mad or sad, or if you're excelling during this time, great. It's okay, because one thing that we all have in common is that we are in the human experience, and no other species on this world or universe knows what it's like to feel the things that we feel. So feel them, reflect on them, use them to grow, and support each other. That's all we can do. I'm trying to stay as positive as I can during these times. So thank you all for staying positive with me, and all I can say is all of you have been so supportive to me and my channel, and just all of the different aspects of my life that I share. That's something that I think a lot of people need in this world, so spread the love. Thank you for giving me the love that you have. Crazy times, y'all. So I know at the beginning of this I talked about how I have been experiencing a lot of gender dysphoria, a lot of body dysmorphia. I just want to touch on something that I've been thinking about. How, as trans people, we can experience so many evolving feelings. Feelings about our bodies, feelings about our transitions, our places in the world, opportunities that we have. Those can change constantly. You can go through life saying, you know what, I'm trans, but I'm comfortable in the body that I am, that I was born in, or with the parts I was born with. That's totally fine. Some people are totally happy with not taking hormones, and that's fine too. For me, when I started transition, I thought that I had to follow this kind of playbook. And the playbook often was like, start hormones, get a breast augmentation, get SRS, do FFS, do voice feminization therapy or surgery, get all the laser hair removal done, live a life that's stealth, and blah, 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 blah. It's just been like, as I've been through my transition throughout the past 6 years of my life, how toxic that narrative is, because a lot of people, I think, make decisions based on that narrative of having to get surgeries right away, of having to take hormones, of having to do things a specific way to be trans. And, you know, it's just like, the idea of having to do something in this kind of equation or fill in the blank kind of Mad Lib for trans people is so idiotic to me. It's like, trans people are just as different and variable as any other person, any way of life, any way of thinking, and it's constantly changing, constantly evolving. There are going to be as many different types of trans people and different experiences and different journeys as there are trans people. And the idea of having to get FFS, or having to sound a certain way, or having to get genital surgery to count, or to be a real trans woman, or it just blows my mind. And I made a video a while ago about, you know, my genitalia. That was a way for me to come out and say, like, my womanhood is not dependent on my genitalia. My womanhood is not dependent on what people define as womanhood. My womanhood is defined by me. My journey is defined by me. And I am the navigator of that, and no one else is. I've gotten a lot of love about that video, which I am so grateful for. And the reason that I've been talking about all of this is I've had so much struggle with going back and forth on my dysphoria regarding my genitalia. When I made that video, I was happy with everything I had. I didn't want to get SRS, GRS, GCS, whatever you want to call it, reassignment surgery. Whatever surgery you want to call that, gender affirming surgery, sexual reassignment surgery. I was supposed to have gender confirmation surgery, is what I want to call it, with Marcy Bowers in April of 2015, 2014, one of them. And I decided not to do it because my partner at the time did not want me to do it. So I didn't. But more and more lately, I have been wanting to do it. Classic me throughout my life. It's, you know, being, this kind of all ties back in. Being heavy, like I was, all I wanted was love. Love in a sense of relationship, I wanted a boyfriend. I wanted to feel sexy. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel, you know, wanted. And that has led me to make a lot of mistakes in my life. When I moved to Minnesota, my goal was to transition. When I was, you know, 18, I was gonna transition. I was out on my own. No one could tell me what to do. And then I found love. And I decided that, you know what, you know, transition is not worth it right now because I have someone who wants me, who loves me. And then we end up breaking up because he cheats on me. Then, you know, I decide, okay, I'm gonna transition now. And these are my transition goals. And those evolve, like I said earlier. But then, surprise, I meet someone and they don't want me to have genital surgery. So I don't, I put that off. And then, you know, because they love me as I am, and they don't want me to do anything that I'll regret, which I understand, but it was also very selfish on his part. So I didn't. I've done a lot of things like that because of, I think, that old me that had that mentality of like, you know what, no one wants me, to all of a sudden people want me and love me and think of me as sexy and attractive and wanted and desirable. Like, why would I take myself away from that? And then I don't do things that I want to do because of that. And I'm done doing that, because at the end of the day, I have to make decisions for myself. I've talked with my partner, Pat, about, you know, this. He said, of course, this is gonna change everything. I mean, you're gonna have to get to know your body again. I'm gonna have to get to know your body again. And of course, the healing process of that whole thing. But for me, I just have come to the understanding, and Pat has as well, is life is short. If things don't work out, they don't work out. And that's just the way it goes. For Pat and I, we basically had the conversation of like, do what makes you happy. I'm here to support you. If things, you know, don't work out, they don't work out. I respect you, I love you, that's that. Isolation is done. Once I have health insurance again, I will be moving forward in the process of getting gender confirmation surgery. I know that's a big revelation because I've talked a lot about in my life that I didn't need it and I didn't want it. And you know what? I've evolved to have a different opinion, and I am allowed to do that. So I'm just gonna put lashes and mascara on quick, and I will be right back and we'll chit chat and I'll do my face with you. Okay, so that is lashes and mascara on. I just put on the Ardell 422 Naked lashes that I love so much. That pretty much is all I wear. And Ilia, the Limitless mascara. And then on my lower lashes, I just did a little bit of my Milk Brow Gel because I didn't want them to be super dark, but I wanted them to be defined. For those of you who are still here, thank you, because I know this video is gonna be a long one, so thanks for being here. So I'm just gonna do foundation and use my favorite 101 brush, the Angled Contour Foundation Brush by BK. So I just wanted to do, you know, something a little lighter, something a little softer just because I've been doing all of these crazy Makeup Challenge Monday looks that are pretty graphic and colorful, and I just wanted to come on and do something that is kind of my go-to. So I'm gonna go in with my Ilia foundation. Okay, so I just wanted to quick do my foundation before I started talking again because I can get quite concentrated when I'm doing my foundation. So what I was going to ask on this video, besides talking about what I've been thinking about lately, is I know that I've been doing a lot of makeup content lately, and I know also that my highest performing videos are the ones about, you know, my trans experience or trans advice, things like that. So I wanted to know what videos you all wanted me to do. Do you want me to go back through my old videos and remake some? Right now, go ahead and pause the video and go in the comment box and leave me a video topic that you would like me to cover. So yeah, please let me know what you want to see from me moving forward. I would really appreciate it. We are growing. We're about to hit 16,000 subscribers, which is just amazing. But I also, you know, want to know new subscribers, what videos you want, and of course the OG Globies on here, what you all want to see. I always do this if I'm wearing like a low-cut top like I am today. Speaking of low-cut tops, I wanted to talk about my boob job. This video is just covering everything. I wanted to talk about my breast augmentation just because I have been considering getting my breasts redone. Just because I have something that you call synmastia. Basically, it's where either, well, it's really based on the surgeon. The surgeon makes too big of a pocket in your breast cavity. Because of that, you get, so when I'm not wearing a bra, you can't really see it, but when I wear a bra and I push them up and together, it raises here in the center and it almost looks like one breast, like two boobs but together. So, and it kind of connects here and it just barely looks like I have separation there. So I'm constantly having to adjust. So sometimes it can actually be painful too. I've been thinking of getting my breasts redone. And I was wondering, those of you who have had your breasts redone, where you went and if you liked their work. I personally, so I'm a 34D right now. When I started hormones, or after hormones for like the first year or so, I was about a B, maybe even probably a B. So I was just wondering what kind of size you guys think you wish you would have done if you had a breast augmentation, and the actual size that you got. So for me, originally, I chose a 350cc implant. I obviously also trusted the surgeon's opinion because he's been not only doing plastic surgery for a long time, he's worked with trans women for a very long time. Oh, so I trusted kind of the surgeon's discretion, and I said, you know, this is the size that I pick, but, you know, if you feel like when you're in surgery that a different size would look more appropriate. So I picked a 350cc implant, but my surgeon, once we were in surgery, decided to go for a 550cc implant. While I am very happy with my size, I am not happy with the overall look of my breasts. I honestly think that this whole synesthesia problem that I'm having is probably related to having gone to a bigger implant like that. Because I think with a bigger implant, he would have had to create a larger pocket for the breast implant to sit in. Obviously, the larger implant creates more space in there. So I think ultimately, while, like I said, I am happy with my breast size, I'm not happy with the overall appearance of them. So that's something I've been thinking about possibly doing in the future, of just like getting my breasts redone, but we'll see. Just gonna do my concealer quick. Okay, concealer is done. So I have, like I said, 550cc implants, and they're moderate plus profile, which means that they don't sit as high profile, and they sit more kind of outward, as they're supposed to mimic more of a natural breast shape. And I've been thinking that I want to go high profile, meaning have more of a kind of up here implant, just because my problem with the kind of definition through here, and I feel like maybe that'll fix it. I might have to go down in size a little bit, but it will, I think, look similar, even if I just decrease it by like 100 cc's. So I'm very excited that this channel is growing, and it's growing pretty quickly. I haven't been doing videos consistently up until probably March, and before that I'd been on and off for a few years, just because, like I said, life takes you turns and twists that you definitely don't expect it to take you, and it definitely did that with me. So, but I think now that I'm getting on a schedule, you should expect more videos from me, or should I say you will see more videos from me, just because I do not want to stop. It's just been a kind of a really great outlet for me, and I really enjoy the sense of community that we have been creating here. So thank you to everyone who has been participating positively, because some of you have not been. As you grow in life, especially on social media, you tend to attract more people, and when you have a small, nice little community, like, you know, I used to back when I was, you know, at like 2,000 subscribers, you know, it was really nice and kind of curated, and there really wasn't a lot of negativity. But now that we're growing and we're at almost 16,000 followers, or subscribers, I should say, there has been kind of an uptick in negative comments. I really, like, just as a person, try not to respond to most of them. Some of them, like, some of them are just downright mean, which typically I don't respond to. Some of them are a little just off-putting, but you can tell are coming from a place of curiosity, which are typically the ones I will respond to. Just because if you're saying things off the cuff, and maybe you haven't met a trans person before, or don't know someone who has a different life experience, and you say things that traditionally can be a little rude, but maybe you aren't versed like that yet, I tend to respond to that kind of comment. But that being said, there are lots of people who are just downright mean, and those are the people that I do not respond to, because we have no time or space for people who are trying to be negative just for the sake of being negative. I try not to let that stuff affect me, and typically for me, I've always seen people being kind of mean or having an opinion about someone as they're growing means that you must be doing something right. So, what air? You don't bother me. I always like to take blush kind of on kind of the places that the sun would hit you. So, kind of tops of cheeks, I always dab it on my nose, a little on my forehead, chin, chest, just to get that sun-kissed look. And then let's get I'm gonna put a little bit of highlighter on. So I've been really enjoying layering cream and powder products lately. So you saw I did a cream blush, a cream highlighter, and a cream bronzer. And now I'm going back on and reinforcing all of that with powder versions. So I'm doing the cream highlighter now, and what's nice is that it sets the cream, but the cream base also amplifies the finish of the powder. Especially, I love to look like I am glowing. So I always have loved dewy skin. I don't really like full coverage. Medium coverage, light coverage, I always spot cover. For me, I like to use, especially this Ilia foundation. It's a serum, it's a light coverage. But then I just go in with a concealer and build up medium coverage where I need it. I have dry skin, and I feel like my skin just loves to absorb all of the moisture it can get. I was thinking about this. Would anyone be interested in doing a kind of skincare video? Or I've done a shaving video, and that included some skincare, but would you be interested in like my daily skincare or my nightly skincare routine? I mean, sometimes I am not the best at taking my makeup off and not just like plopping in bed, but when I can, or when I do, I can show you my skincare routine. And then I was thinking also, I do take, and again, I'm trying to be a little more regular with everything in my life, just trying to get back on a schedule. But I've been taking more supplements. So if you all want to see that, let me know. I've gotten many requests for a hair video on what I do with my hair. So a curly hair routine video. So that will be in the works for sure. So that is kind of the face. I'm just going to put a quick lip on. And we are done. Okay everyone, so this is the final look. Thank you so much for getting ready with me today. I know this is a long video, but we talked about a lot of really important things. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and of course, share any video that you feel was important to you or that you enjoyed. And of course also, please click the little notification bell so you are notified when I upload any videos. And then all my social media is A Girl Like Me with Chloe M. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, every Tuesday and Thursday, we're doing live here on YouTube. If you are a longtime subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing and welcome. You are all my lovely and beautiful Chlobies. Love you all.